Oh, yes, welcome. I am St. Germain, and there are many of us in the collective tonight. We welcome you all. Yes, what a beautiful day with you in it. We would say our channel has asked us to explain about the children being born today and how parents may assist them on their journey. We would like to begin with pointing out that many of you would label these children. As we do not use labels, we will not be identifying them with the labels. Many of these labels are Starseed children, crystal children, rainbow children, indigo children, new age children, and we would say that everyone being born today on planet Earth is consciousness, and each generation as they transition from human form back to spirit form, and then come and replay the game again. The last generation or the next generation always brings into planet Earth the knowledge from the generation before, and also the higher frequencies of love. Each generation is coming in, we would say, more awake. As you begin to notice the children that are being born today on planet Earth, they are coming in with awareness of who they are as conscious beings. Many parents are not understanding this as they are not yet awake, and we would say that these children are coming in with more confidence. They feel welcome on planet Earth. They know who they are, and they are not lowering their vibration to please others. It is not making sense to them of why they would need to please others instead of love them. We would say this is from an egoic viewpoint. Why would they need to feed someone's ego instead of love someone or love themselves from their heart and send that love to others in the same way? We would say that it is one moment, please. We would say that the New Age children, or the children being born today, are coming in with their DNA already crystallized. We would say it is coming in with crystalline DNA rather than carbon DNA. This is a frequency of divine love integrated into their DNA system. To put it simply, our channel is not understanding our description, so we will allow it for now and move on. We will keep it simple for this explanation. The DNA in humans on planet Earth is carbon form, and when you are awakening, it is transmuting back to crystalline DNA. This would be empowering in the way of holding more frequencies of divine love and knowing who you are as conscious beings. The children being born today recognize the God within themselves. We would say, if you do not use the terminology God, it would be they recognize that they are a universal energy or source energy, and that there is no separation outside of themselves. They are quite sure of who they are in their shoes because they understand their connection to everything. They understand their connection to the universe. They are confused by their parents not understanding, and they are here to teach the parents. We would say, as in other videos we have mentioned, that the teacher teaches the student, but the student is here to teach the teacher, you see. It is that one appears more important than the other. You have your student, your teacher, and the principal, and we would say your perception is that the principal is more important than the teacher, and the teacher is more important than the student, but everyone is equal, and the children being born today recognize that they are equal to everyone. They are seeing themselves as adults with knowledge. You are looking at them as children, but that is not what their perception is. Their perception is that they are all-knowing. They are connected to universal knowledge, and they understand how to channel this knowledge. When you ask them questions, they receive it from their knowing, and it is that they are confident in this. They do not feel they need help or assistance as the way you did as children. They do not need to look outside of themselves. They find the answer within. Many of the parents today, or people in society, are judging them for always being on their computers, and they're always conversing through the internet rather than by spoken word. And we would say it is beneficial and detrimental, both. We will explain each way. When the child is addicted to being on the computer, this is detrimental. It is an addiction. So it would be that they are needing something to comfort them. They are seeking for love outside themselves, and they become addicted to feel, to try to get to a better feeling place. We would say that it is that they are using the internet or social media as an escape. Then there is the beneficial side to this. They are not needing to connect verbally as they understand people from a conscious level. They do not feel lonely. There are many people in the last generation that feel so lonely, and they believe that you need to be connected to others and have find love outside of yourselves. The children being born today understand they can find this love within them. They are not as social or as needy, clingy, because they are not seeking the love outside of themselves as their parents or their parents' generation or any generations before that. They know who they are as consciousness. They do not believe they were ever separated from consciousness. Therefore, they do not feel the loneliness of separation. They are not understanding why, many of them are not understanding why the need for social interaction in the way that their parents do. Going to visit a friend and spending time with family members at times does not resonate with them because they are not lonely. There are many of you wanting to connect with others outside of yourself to fill that loneliness. It is an illusion that you can find joy and happiness outside of yourselves. If I have a friend and I go visit them, then they will fill the void I feel inside. And we would say many of the children being born today do not have this void. They feel their connection. They are not understanding why they must go talk from their ego instead of speak from their heart. They are not understanding why they are needing to go visit with family members and speak about ego, speak from the ego. They're having more progression or soul's expansion by going in and loving themselves, working with their inner children. They are not feeling the loneliness. The parents understand that they must be lonely, and we would say they are not feeling lonely in the way you believe they are. We would say they are well aware of their connection to all. It would be beneficial to give them more choices. When the parents say you must do this or you must go here, they are not understanding why they do not have a choice. They are not seeing themselves as children. They are seeing themselves as all-knowing. They are seeing themselves as equal to the adults. We would say if you gave them more choices, the relationships would be with more ease between the parent and the child. Speak to them as if they are adults with the respect that you would give other adults. There is also a block in the sacral chakras on parents and their children. The parent believes they own their child, and the child believes they own their parent. This is my mother. This is my father. This is my daughter. This is my sister. This is my house. There's all an identity of I own this. There is we would not use the terminology identity for this description. One moment, please. There is an association that they believe that they own something, and the child knows that they are consciousness. They do not want to be owned. The house is consciousness. It does not want to be owned. You are playing roles in your human form, but these roles are only identities, and when you believe that you have identities, then you must fill that role, and within those roles comes ownership. I own my house. I am a house owner. I own my child. I am a mother. I own my child. And we would say if you change your perception or your belief to not owning, then the child will feel more free. The child when you ask the child, could please clean your room at this time, or come to this dinner party, get in your pretty dress, and you must come and entertain the people at the dinner party and behave in the way I would wish you to behave in front of my friends, and then my friends would be impressed that I have this child that is obeying me and that is loving and kind, and then the parent's ego gets fed that they are important, and the child is saying, I already know I am worthy. I do not have to go perform in front of anybody. I am consciousness, and I am well aware that you are using me to benefit feeding your ego. If you do not own your child and you gave them choices and asked them if they would like to join you at the party but not pressure them to perform, they would readily go. They would not feel that they are being used. They believe that the parents are using them to feed their egos. Come and do this. Be the best hockey player. And once you are the best hockey player, then I am the important hockey mother or hockey father, you see. The kids are the children, we would not use the terminology kids, as that implies you are goats, and they are not goats, they are children. When the child does well, you would notice that when the parents are using this my child is a straight A student, and they call all their friends and relatives to tell them that the child is a straight A student, the child feels used. You are using me to make yourself look important, and then the child says, I will no longer get straight A's, as this would be feeding my parents' ego, and I am here to feed their heart. I do not need validation outside of myself that I am perfection. Therefore, you would find many children today withdrawing. They are saying, I do not need to perform. I do not need to prove myself. We would say the last generation has a belief system running that they need to prove themselves, and the children today do not have this in their belief system. It is not a program. They feel they are worthy whether they are doing anything or not. They do not have to perform or prove themselves. You will notice if you allow them to have more choices and to encourage them to be who they are without gaining something from them, from their gifts or talents, but encouraging them to be free with them. That you will notice that they will step into their gifts and talents more readily. They are backing off because the parents are using it to get their ego fed. Once you believe that you do not own your children, they will not feel in resistance. They when you ask them to do something, the program running is that I own you and you must do this to please me, so I can be validated that I am loved. And the child says, it is not my job to fulfill your ego needs. It is not my job to please you. I am consciousness. And if you said, you have a choice, would you like to join me today, or would you like to stay home and work on your own thing, and the child had a choice, you would see that the child may want to join you more often. It is a beautiful dance between the child and the parent. And once the belief is changed that you own the parent, or the parent owns the child, there is much freedom for both of you. The relationship gets more in harmony because there is not the resistance. At this time, it is blocking the sacral chakra, the ownership. I own something. It is a block in the sacral chakra as it runs the program of guilt and shame if you do not perform, or if you do not do what your parent says. The parent says, come and clean your room now. And the child says, I do not want to be owned. I am consciousness. And they resist it. And then the parent would get upset and say, you are not pleasing me. And then the child goes into withdrawal, and it blocks the sacral chakra as they will run the program of guilt and shame around not cleaning the room. If a child said, if a mother said, we appreciate how much you've cleaned up today. We noticed that you did the dishes for the family, and we appreciate it, and left it at that. You would notice that the bedroom would get cleaned without you asking, you see. How would you treat your husband or wife? We would say, treat your children the same way, with respect. They are seeking respect, and if they do not get it, they are withdrawing. They are here to assist humanity at this time for many changes. The children coming here are saving the planet from further detriments. We would say there are some parents that are in resistance of their children not following the old way, or the way it should be, or the way our parents wanted us to be, finish school and go to college and get married and have children. There are many children coming onto the planet now with soul assignments to change humanity at this time. We would say if your child appears different than everyone else, it is because they are a way shower. They are here to change humanity at this time. We would say to encourage them and love them for that. There are many parents judging their children for not fitting in, and we would say it is the child that doesn't fit in that will change the world. We would say that as you are on your journey with your children, loving from the heart instead of the head is always be empathetic instead of sympathetic. When your child is going through rough times, many parents say, I have sympathy for my child. I don't want them to be in pain, so I will take on their pain. And we would say that this interferes with their soul's progression. If you were empathetic and you said, I understand and have compassion for my child for what they're going through, I'm going to send them love from my heart, but I'm not going to take on their pain. You do not interfere with their soul's journey. Their spirit has decided what game it wants to play on planet Earth, and the child's spirit has decided what up and downs it would like to climb, how many mountains it would like to climb on planet Earth, and how many experiences it would like to have. And when the parent tries to fix it, it interferes with their soul's progression. They are all choosing their journey, and they are choosing it wisely. We would say that all children have chosen their parents specifically for what they needed to learn on planet Earth for their soul's expansion. You cannot get it wrong as parents. There are many parents that we are seeing here today that are blaming themselves or attacking themselves for something their children did, or that maybe the child humiliated them or embarrassed them in front of the family. And we would say that the child chose this specific journey, and it is that the parent they chose their parent for a specific reason. We would like to rephrase, one moment please. The parents are feeling guilty when they a child gets one moment please. Our channel needs water. We would say that there are some parents that feel guilty if they have to discipline their children, and they are questioning, should I have done this, or I did this wrong, or I was not a good parent because my child behaved in a certain way. And we would say that everything you do as a parent is perfection. You cannot get it wrong. As your children have, they have decided and chosen you specifically for all the lessons they can learn while on planet Earth. If you have a child that ends up in prison, it is that child has chosen you to love them and support them through that journey of being in prison. Did you not love them the most when they were in the most pain? Yes, you do not judge them. They are your children, and it is it is when they need that love the most, is when they believe they have done something wrong in a human perception. Again, from our perception, from a spiritual perspective, everything is an experience, and the children will choose their parents specifically on what they need to learn for soul expansion at this time on planet Earth. The parents may let go of the guilt around doing something wrong. You cannot get it wrong. For every decision you make, there's another aspect of you that goes and lives out the other decision you see. There is no wrongdoing. We would say relieve yourself of a guilt around past times where maybe you have disciplined your child and you are questioning whether you should have done that or not. We would say the word should is a guilt word, and I could have done something differently, but is a better feeling word than should. But we would say that none of the parents are doing anything wrong. You are all doing the best you can at all times, or you wouldn't be doing it, you see. Stop questioning your parenting skills. You are all perfection. The children are safe. There is no time a child is not safe because they are consciousness. Our lifetime on planet Earth is very short in a spirit perspective. The illusion of linear time is but a split second for a spiritual journey. And we would say that whatever happens on planet Earth, the soul is always safe. The spirit is always safe. We will allow for the use of this word interchangeably. The spirit or soul is always safe. Therefore, your children are always safe. They are consciousness. They cannot be broken. They are not glass. Allow them to have their experience. They are here to put on their costume, their human costume, and play the game on planet earth. Give them the respect that you wish to be given to yourself, and all will be well. You are all beautiful beings, and you are all doing a magnificent job raising your children. We do not use the terminology job, but we will allow it for this explanation. Thank you for we appreciate you viewing our videos, and we wish you well.